Have you ever wondered what would happen if you ate a brick of dry ice? A seemingly absurd question, isn't it? Yet it's a thought that opens doors to a fascinating exploration of science. Dry ice, often seen in special effects or used to keep things cool, is more than meets the eye. It's a unique substance that reacts in peculiar ways, especially when it comes in contact with our bodies. This might seem like a bizarre question, but stick around, and you'll discover some fascinating facts. Before we dive into the what-ifs, let's first understand what dry ice is. Dry ice, as many of you might already be aware, is not actually ice in the conventional sense. It's not frozen water, but rather the solid form of carbon dioxide, a gas. When carbon dioxide is cooled and pressurized, it turns directly into a solid, skipping the liquid phase entirely. This is a process known as deposition. Now let's talk temperatures. Dry ice is extremely cold, clocking in at a frosty -78.5 degrees Celsius. That's colder than any natural temperature recorded on Earth's surface. This chilly substance has another intriguing property. When it warms up, it doesn't melt into a liquid like the ice cubes in your summer lemonade. Instead, it turns directly back into a gas, a process known as sublimation. If you've ever seen a spooky fog creeping along the ground in a haunted house or a rock concert, you've likely witnessed sublimation in action. That's dry ice at work. Despite its cool party tricks, dry ice is not something to be taken lightly. It's essential to handle it with care. Because it's so cold, touching dry ice can cause severe frostbite, and its rapid sublimation can lead to high pressure in a sealed container, which could result in an explosion. Moreover, as it sublimates, dry ice releases carbon dioxide gas. In a well-ventilated area, this is not an issue, but in an enclosed space, it could lead to a potentially dangerous increase in carbon dioxide levels. So, armed with this knowledge, we can start to imagine the havoc it would wreak inside our bodies. Now, picture this. You take a bite of a brick of dry ice. What happens next? Well, the initial encounter itself is a chilling experience, literally. Dry ice is extremely cold, with a surface temperature of around -78 degrees Celsius. That's colder than any winter in Antarctica. When it comes into contact with your mouth and tongue, the extreme cold would immediately cause frostbite and burns. This isn't like licking a cold ice cream cone on a hot summer day. The cold from dry ice is much more intense and can cause severe damage in a matter of seconds. The tissues and cells in your mouth and tongue would freeze, becoming rigid and brittle. This could lead to blisters and sores forming, which would be incredibly painful. But the damage wouldn't stop at your mouth. If you were to swallow the dry ice, it could freeze the tissues in your throat and esophagus. This could cause them to become inflamed and swollen, making it difficult for you to breathe or swallow. In severe cases, the tissue could die, a process known as necrosis. Necrosis is when cells in the body die prematurely due to external factors like injury or disease. In this case, the extreme cold of the dry ice would be the culprit. When cells die from necrosis, they release substances into the surrounding tissue that can cause inflammation and further damage. This could lead to more serious complications, like infection or even gangrene. You might think that the cold would numb the pain, but the reality is that the damage would be so severe that the pain would be intense. You would likely experience a burning sensation, as if your mouth and throat were on fire. This is because the nerves in the affected areas would be sending signals to your brain, telling it that something is very wrong. So taking a bite of dry ice is a bad idea, to say the least. You'd be dealing with immediate physical damage, including burns and frostbite, and potentially more serious complications like necrosis. But that's not the end of the story. The real danger lies in what happens next. As the dry ice begins to sublimate inside your body, the situation goes from bad to worse. Now let's take a deeper dive into what precisely happens in the aftermath of this icy ingestion. Remember, dry ice is solid carbon dioxide, and when it changes from a solid to a gas in a process called sublimation, a significant volume of gas is released. Imagine a tiny cube of dry ice, about the size of a sugar cube. When it sublimates, it can release gas that would fill a volume about 100 times larger than the original cube. Now picture that happening inside your body. As the dry ice sublimates in your stomach, the rapid release of carbon dioxide gas leads to a tremendous buildup of pressure. Your body isn't equipped to handle that kind of pressure internally. This could result in serious injuries, including painful bloating, internal tearing, or in extreme cases, a rupture of the stomach or intestines. But the danger doesn't stop there. The carbon dioxide gas doesn't just stay in your digestive system. It can quickly enter your bloodstream, leading to a condition known as hypercapnia. This is when there's too much carbon dioxide in your blood, and it can be deadly. Symptoms can range from shortness of breath and rapid heart rate to seizures, coma, and even death. Moreover, the extremely cold temperature of dry ice, which is minus 78.5 degrees Celsius, can cause severe frostbite and tissue damage. This could result in ulcers or perforations in your digestive tract, leading to long-term complications. So, let's recap. If you were to eat dry ice, the aftermath could include internal injuries from pressure buildup, potential suffocation from excess carbon dioxide in your bloodstream, and damage to your digestive system from the extreme cold. So, it's safe to say eating dry ice is a very, very bad idea. Not only is it dangerous, but it could also lead to severe health complications, or even be fatal. So, let's stick to using dry ice for its intended purposes, like keeping things cool and leave the eating to food, shall we? So, what have we learned from this chilling scenario? It's clear that dry ice, with its extreme cold temperature and rapid sublimation, is a hazard to ingest. Consuming it could cause severe tissue damage, internal injuries, and even life-threatening suffocation. It's not a substance to be trifled with. Its uses are best left to creating eerie Halloween atmospheres or rapidly freezing foods. So next time you see a brick of dry ice, remember, it's better suited for spooky Halloween effects and quick freezing your food, not for a daring culinary adventure.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. That's all for Nifty Narrations.